later on, Bo Ismono is going to be here.
Odie, would you...
Kevin, I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Would you, if you could, live forever?
Yes.
Why?
I would want to strictly from an observation.
Wrong answer. No,
Oh.
I'm gonna ruin this for you real
all
quick.
right.
All right, we're gonna do a little segment called "Kevin Ruins This for Everybody." Okay. You should never answer yes to "I want to live forever." And I ruined this for myself first today because somebody made a reference to some guy being like 259 years old, right?
Okay.
And when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, oh yeah, people talk about like living forever. But when I thought of a guy who's 259 years old, I thought of something that we never think about when we're talking about living forever. And that's the fact that gravity is not an agent of aging. So if you're living forever, gravity is going to still work on you. Just because you don't age doesn't mean you don't have the constant force and weight of the universe and gravitational pull of the core of the earth on you, which means by like age 300, like you start out, like you hit your growth spurt, you get to your max height, right? By age 300, if you were 6 foot, you're going to be like 5'5".
Well,
you're going to be like 5'2".
I mean,
you're going to be squished by the universe. Living forever doesn't mean not being squished by irrefutable forces. So science, it just makes it like if you live forever, you would eventually be like, kill me. I look like an Oompa
Can you bring
Loompa.
science into the question? I want to live forever.
Yeah, because like let's
No.
negate all the because really, what are we saying? I don't want to age ever, right? Because age is what inevitably creates like death, I guess. I don't know. If you said I wanted to live I feel like I live forever is like it's okay. First off,
there's a caveat though. I'd want to be this age and nothing else change, but I just.
But what I'm saying, gravity is gonna crush you. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Also, living forever doesn't mean not living like it. You could still like get launched into space and then just be stuck in space forever. Like define living, right? You know, like the answer's no. Don't ever say you want to live forever. Don't do it because you'll get crushed by the universe or launched into space.
Eventually, I think right.
You could live forever in a prison cell.
The sun's gonna explode. Right.
You could live forever at the bottom of the Marinara Trench.
Yes, but if the sun's going to explode, right, because we know
then you
that.
can't live forever anyway.
Well, no, I think what you do is you spend that time planning how to use the explosion to launch you through space so you land on another
but then
planet
you have
with
the
life.
Inevitable heat death of the universe anyway, baby. The entropy is going to take it all over.
You land on a planet that has life.
The heat death of the universe and gravity and the heat death of the universe
but if you can't
should
die.
be enough. The heat death of the universe doesn't mean like it's not a little like everything just becomes entropic. Like you just motion ceases to be. It doesn't matter. You can't. It's impossible. I came here to crush dreams this week.
Well, my dreams are still alive.
Are they?
Yeah.
You gonna live forever?
I still would live forever.
Then how am I gonna podcast live at your funeral, Odie?
I will be doing yours and everybody else's. At some point, no one will be able to stop me.
No, you can't do it without me. How are you gonna do that?
Well,
how are you gonna do this?
Because AI. I'll just use AI.
I refuse.
AI
I don't
and Tesla
sign my
robots.
rights over.
I don't care.
No,
AI
you're
and
gonna
Tesla
deep fake
robots.
me at my own funeral. You know what happened? I'll get. Even deep fake me would get mad at you.
Yeah, exactly.
AI me would get mad at you.
It would know.
And start yelling at you about the heat death of the universe at my funeral.
And then I'll just unplug you. It's fine.
No, AI me does live forever. That's the trick.
Then I have someone to podcast with forever.
Okay. That's just no. You can't.
Oh wait, I'm doing the edit this week, so I can cut you off and tune you out however I want.
You better not cut me off when I'm in the middle of talking.
The music's already rolling, buddy.
I can't. No. you ready to clap?
I am ready to clap.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the UnPop podcast. You know what? Odie's in charge.
Hey, you know what, Kevin? I just wanted to say this before we go any further. I know you're only on this episode for like 20, 30 minutes, but please, I'm begging you,
Don't what?
Don't say at any point, insert a sound effect here, because one of two things. Either A, I won't do it, and it's going to look silly, or B, I will do it, but because I'm not good at doing them, it'll sound way worse, and everyone's going to hate it.
Insert the sound effect of wet macaroni and cheese here.
Oh, welcome back to another episode of the UnPop podcast. My name is Kevin Miner, your captain.
No, you're not.
Total LC
No.
Embray. Cap and CC Sim.
You fail.
Kevin, this is bad.
And I'm Odie Matthews. I do whatever I want and lay in bed all day and edit videos. Yee.
Somebody's jealous of my life choices.
Yeah, maybe I am, Odie. Maybe I am. You're living forever editing videos in your bed until the inevitable heat death of the I gotta drop that. That's the bit's done. Yeah. The bit's dead. It's over. Cause like I'm already arguing myself here. Okay, I'm already arguing myself in my head. Cause
arguing yourself.
Cause if you do live forever, right? And let's get real about this. Like if you do live forever,
get real,
then the inevitable heat death of the universe, which is just a state of constant entropy, would be broken by the fact that there was a being still alive. Like
exactly,
and all it takes is like a piece, like the tiniest piece of kinetic potential, right? And then all of a sudden, the universe is coming back, and you are still there because it's forever.
Yeah.
Because so even if the universe restarts, you do it. I wouldn't want that. I would not. I still no.
Still no.
Yeah, still no. What we got news?
Yes.
This week. Wait, hold on. I'm Odie Matthews, the chef. We're cooking up all the content forever and ever. Amen. They, them.
Forever and ever. Amen.
I was holding my hands up like I was in a Baptist church.
That's what I was laughing. I was like, are you praising on a Sunday morning right now, Kevin?
I just turned into a Muppet. I just like a little like
just string bean.
Yeah, just a little Baptist Muppet. I'm Odie Matthews.
I hope you like sequel and overly long movie news, because that's what
I
I brought
love
for you.
sequel and overly long movie news. Hit me with all of it. Hold on, I'll lay down too.
Yeah, but you're not gonna be as comfortable as me.
No, I'm not. I've settled with my life choices. We've talked about this. This has been covered. I'm Odie Matthews.
I'm Kevin Miner.
No, that's not.
I like to go to the gym and I hit stuff and I get bowls that I don't know how to pronounce at the store.
You have to do a different voice. You have to do a different voice.
My name's Kevin and I go hit things.
That's not different.
Okay,
What's
sorry.
the news?
John Wick 5 is officially in
What?
the works, and
Speaking of living forever,
and starts filming soon.
John Wick 5, I'll never die.
Keanu Reeves is back, baby.
Keanu Reeves.
He's in the
He
new
never left.
spin-off.
He
He's in the
didn't
spin-off
leave
movie.
this time.
He's
What?
he's in the ballerina movie coming out with
Oh, he's
Daryl
in
Dixon.
the spin-off movie and the next one.
Yeah, well, you know he's not gonna die. I mean, I don't know
Ever.
what more they could do
Ever.
with that story, but
He'll never die. Bullet boners forever. John Wick.
boners.
Pew pew.
Well, speaking
All
of
right, great.
Speaking of living forever,
Ah, great. We have a theme. We have a theme.
another sequel that's in the works is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The Quentin Tarantino, Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio movie is
getting a sequel.
It's getting a sequel. It's a Quentin Tarantino
Twice
script.
Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's going to be written by Tarantino, but it's going to be directed by, I think it's David Fincher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Say more.
Yes. That's all.
that it?
That's all I can say.
So, Twice Upon a Time in Hollywood, written by Tarantino, directed by David Fincher. See, here's the thing. Tarantino said he would only ever direct 8 movies, right?
He could write more. 10.
Yeah. See?
Mm-hmm.
You knew where I was going with it. We all saw this coming.
We all saw this coming. I mean, also he still hasn't even. Tarantino just recently said he's not doing that 10th movie that he had planned about like a movie called The Movie Critic.
Sorry, 10 movies. Yep.
He's not doing it anymore, so he still has a 10th one to do, and some people want him to do like Kill Bill Volume 3 or whatever.
Yeah, where the girl.
Yeah, because
the daughter.
The daughter.
Yeah, the daughter of the lady that she kills first.
Yeah.
In the kill. Well, not first, but like, you know.
Yeah.
Not chronologically, but theatrically.
Yeah. I mean,
she kills that lady. Remember?
Yeah.
Lady had the gun and the Cheerios.
Yeah, and people were saying, you could bring. It's been about that much
What's
time
next?
has passed.
What's the news?
Yeah.
What's the news?
I don't know. You talking about Kill Bill?
Give me more news.
Okay. How do you feel about the Beatles, the band?
Like the Bugs, the band.
The band.
We've talked about how I feel about Tom Hanks, and it's very similar with the Beatles. I respect it. I get that a lot of people love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just not like I like every Beatles cover I've ever heard. But then somebody be like, the song's by the Beatles, and then I listen to it, and I think the only like Beatles songs that I liked that I listened to were like, apparently they were like George, because like all of them wrote different songs, right? So apparently I like George Harrison. That's who I like.
Interesting.
Apparently. That's what was explained to me by a Beatles fan. They're like, you like the George Harrison songs, like My Guitar Gently Weeps. Like They're like, you like that batch, so you're a George Harrison fan. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's fine.
I have great news for you.
What? George Harrison's doing a movie?
George Harrison's dead, but
no!
I hate to be the one to tell you this, Kevin. He died in the 90s.
George! I hardly knew you, George.
Sam Mendes, who is probably most famous for directing some of the Daniel Craig 007 movies.
I was thinking of Shawn Mendes when you said that.
That's the singer from TikTok.
Yeah, that's the guy who's like, I'm holding nothing back. I don't know. What's the song?
I don't know. But there's a Beatles movie coming out, and directed by Sam Mendes, and
starring Shawn Mendes.
No, here's the cast, okay? So Joseph Quinn, who's playing Johnny Storm, is George Harrison, your mate.
My man. George Johnny Storm.
Barry Keoghan is playing Ringo Starr.
Barry Keoghan.
I listened to him say it in an interview. It's pronounced Keoghan.
Barry Keoghan.
It's not. You're saying his name wrong.
Ringo Starr?
He's playing Ringo.
Awesome.
Paul Mescal, who everyone would probably know from the new Gladiator 2 movie. He's playing Paul McCartney. And then Harris Dickinson, who I think I only really know him from The King's Man, which is the Kingsman prequel, but he's John Lennon. Now that's not the news that I want to tell you about this movie. I'm just setting up the groundwork for the announcement I heard today before I started.
Big news.
Yeah, big news. So how long do
Who's playing Yoko Ono?
Herself. Who do you
Shut up. Shut up. Just
who do you think? How long do you think this movie about the Beatles is going to be?
5 hours.
It's 4 separate movies, 2 hours each.
Oh, God.
All coming out at once. Each one is titled after a member of the Beatles that focuses on their life in the Beatles.
Oh, God.
Doesn't that sound great?
Yep. Can't wait.
Aren't you excited?
Who's directing?
Sam Mendes. He's directing all of them.
Who's writing?
Let's see who is.
The cast seems fine.
The cast is good. I'll admit.
The cast seems fine. Sam Mendes, sure, fine. Yoko Ono's there.
Okay, well,
got it.
It's not telling me who the writer is, and these movies don't come out until 2028.
Oh, well, whatever.
That's okay,
fine.
Cool. So
I'll watch the George Harrison one.
I'll watch the Ringo Starr one.
All right. 2 listeners, please email in mysecretpower@gmail.com. Somebody watch Lennon. Somebody watch McCartney.
The boring
We'll
ones.
all convene over Zoom for coffee.
Nope.
And
Teams.
we'll compare notes.
It's got to be over Teams because that's what everything's going towards.
No, that's what Skype's becoming. I'm going to download that after this. All right, what's next? What do you got?
Do you like Michael? When I say MJ and I say Michael
Jackson.
Yes. Okay, good. Cool. Did you hear about the whole
He touched kids.
well, okay, not that part.
He had a theme park at his house.
They made a movie about him and they included one of the kids that were like a part of his cases, and they had come to an agreement that basically like the family of that kid was like, you like pay us this money and you never mention his name in anything ever, no matter what. And then they put that kid in the movie, and then the people were like, hey, you can't put that kid in the movie. So they I think it's a Warner Brothers film and they have to delay it, and now they're thinking about splitting it into 2 movies, and that way they can both be 4 hours long.
Why are we what why are we doing this?
That's so that they can release the first part where the kid isn't mentioned, and then they can fix the second part and add more and reshoots.
What are they doing? Little MJ, the first one, like just watching him get beat up by his dad for. I don't want to watch this again. We've had so many documentaries. Why? What the Beatles had documentaries. They got a movie already. They got Across the Universe was great.
And Peter Jackson has done so many Beatles like biopics and stuff, like documentaries and stuff.
Too much. We done too much.
And on
Michael Jackson, we done too much.
On top of that,
he got Moonwalker. He had Moonwalker. That's all we need.
But also
to understand, if you want to understand Michael Jackson, just watch Moonwalker because it will floor you. You'll be like, I don't understand what happened, and I'll go, exactly.
It's also the fact that like historically these movies don't do well, even with like the star power of Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah, someone should just write like a short film about Annie. Are you okay?
Annie,
like,
are you okay?
Yep. Are you okay, Annie?
Yeah.
All right.
We get an Elvis movie like every 2 years.
We really do.
The last bit of movie.
He's the king, baby.
The last bit of news I have,
baby.
and this news deeply upsets me. Did you hear they're making it? They're making a live action Gundam movie.
Okay.
That's not the news.
You're gonna say the thing that I think you're gonna say
About the casting.
Yep. Say it.
Sydney Sweeney might be starring in this movie.
Why?
Out of all the people to pick, why would you pick somebody who famously is not known for those kind of roles, but also does not fit the vibe at all? Like,
I'm sitting up again. Okay.
All.
I'm sitting up again. All right. We already Hollywood. Come here, Hollywood. Come here,
Hollywood. Come here,
Hollywood.
for a chat.
Come here. Sit down.
Hollywood chat.
Sit down. Crisscross applesauce, please. All right. Listen up. Listen up, Hollywood. You didn't learn your lesson the first time. I get it. It's hard because you want to do the thing that seems cool, right? And that seems cool. Sydney Sweeney's cool, right? A lot of conservatives are saying she broke wokeism, right? Like, I get it, Hollywood. You want to use the clickbait in the film. But you done this before. You cast ScarJo in Ghost in the Shell. Nobody wanted that. Nobody wanted it, Hollywood. So why would you do this again when we did it before and it didn't work? Nobody liked it. You even had Michael Pitt in Tokyo in Ghost in the Shell, and he was okay, but that's still wrong, still bad. You're not learning. Why are we not learning? Do you want your pacifier? What do you want? Applesauce? How about you go take 5? Go take 5 and think about what you did. Yeah, don't even announce it. No. Go find people who fit the mold for the actual genre. Get out of here. It's
annoying because every single time they do a live action of an anime that I actually like, they always miscast it. ScarJo's a
Sydney
good one.
Sweeney.
The live action Death Note on Netflix is a great miscasting.
M. Night Shampoo's Avatar.
Yeah, like the guy who played Sokka in
Dragon Ball.
Dude, famously the guy who played Sokka in Avatar The Last Airbender, the live action movie, not only apparently does he suck, but I saw pictures of him at a red carpet where he had tailored and like altered dress blue Marine Corps uniforms to wear on the red carpet, and I don't know why, but that really bothered me as a Marine. Like, Really pissed me off. Anyways, but yeah, no, listen, please, I'm begging for every ounce of my soul is begging them not to cast famously like one trick pony actress Sydney Sweeney who can only play like a dumbish blonde who ultimately is smarter than she appears and talks like a college valley girl. Please do not cast her in a live action Gundam movie. Please do not do that. Please do not do that. Please don't do that.
Do you hear him, Hollywood? Do you hear? Okay, what's next?
Like, well, that's it. That's
Think about what you did, Hollywood. No, get your hands out of the Cheez-Its. No, those are my Cheez-Its. Yeah, all right. Okay.
Don't touch the remote with the Cheez-Its. Oh, you touched the remote. Oh, my God.
Okay.
Hollywood, stop. Hollywood, turn off
You're
Tubi.
ruining everything,
Turn
Hollywood.
off
Get
Tubi,
out of
Hollywood.
here.
Tubi,
Get out of here.
Don't take ideas from Tubi.
Who let you in here in the first place?
All right,
what do you got?
That's all my news.
That's it?
Because we're recording this on a Wednesday. You know, there's not
Dude,
a lot
Val
of...
Kilmer died. Why'd you not announce that?
Well, because we already
That's
talked about
news. Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay, so last bit of news.
Mad
Val Kilmer,
Mardigan died yesterday.
No, what are you talking about? He's Kit, the Knight Rider TV show from 2008.
He's Mad Mardigan.
No, he's Kit. Everyone knows him as his role from Knight Rider.
You texted me. Okay. You texted me and said Iceman died. I said he's not Iceman.
He's Iceman.
He's Batman.
He's Iceman.
And then you said he's not Batman. He's whatever the guy is that he was in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And then I said, actually, he's Mad fucking Mardigan, who was my first favorite action hero. He's not even a real hero. When you first meet him, he's like strung up in a cage because he was a thief. He was a horrible man, right?
Yeah.
And then he has a big redemption arc. He hates a baby for no reason for like most of the film. And then you're going to cover it on Magnum Opus.
I think I will do a Willow. I mean, not anytime soon, but I'll definitely do one. Because the TV show famously...
Val Kilmer's forgotten fantasy hero. This is how you do it.
Well, I think everyone remembers Warwick Davis more from that than him.
Well, yeah, because he's the star.
He's the Willow.
He's the Willow. Willow has a star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood. Hollywood, does Willow have a... All right, no, okay. Hey, no, stop peeing in the plants, Hollywood. Why are you doing that now? No. Look, I told you Sydney Sweeney can't do it. Well, go find somebody else. All right, sorry. I'm done with the Hollywood bit.
But yeah, Val Kilmer, sadly, from pneumonia. Also, by the way, I should say.
Oh, really? Pneumonia?
He had throat cancer. Was cancer free in like 2022, 2023, and then he passed away from pneumonia.
Wow.
I almost said this time.
At least
around.
he made it through COVID. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right? Dude made it pretty for a dude who had throat cancer. Made it pretty far.
Yeah, honestly.
Right?
I mean, they had to use AI for him in Top Gun Maverick because obviously speaking was really hard, so they actually utilized AI to help like create his voice essentially. So you kind of using it for like a cause that actually makes sense, an actor who's beloved coming back for a role that they can't fully do, so you kind of use it that way.
Instead of copying the art of the man who hates AI.
Yeah, you know what's okay? So two things about that real quick. Also, another piece of news. This fits into the news.
Bonus news.
Studio Ghibli, the founder,
is sending cease and desist letters.
The founder of Studio Ghibli came out and said like AI art is a disgrace and like basically it was like fuck it.
He said that when they first showed it to him.
Yeah, oh my god, I can never say his name right.
Hayao Miyazaki.
Hayao Miyazaki. I'm calling him.
Dude, I don't know why I can't
Hayazaki.
say his name. He hangs out with Barry Keoghan all the time.
It's Keoghan. Anyways, this is another thing I was gonna tell you real quick. This is kind of funny.
What?
I saw a clip of a AI like video of like a kraken attacking a guy. And people in the comments were really pissed because they're like, what movie is this from? What movie is this from? Why is no one telling us the name of the movie? And I'm like, wow.
It's AI, bro.
AI art has now matched the level of badness that like really, really low budget, terrible green screen movies do from like the mid 2000s. Yep. So people now think they're real movies because like it's like a Transmorphers. Like
this is what you have when you get bad. A whole bunch of bad. You hear me, Netflix? Get over here. Come on.
Oh, wait. Hang on. Hold on a second.
Sit down.
I gotta take this soundbite and move it to the front of the episode.
Wait, what soundbite?
This soundbite I'm about to do.
Okay.
Later on, Bo Ismono is going to be here. I gotta remember to put that in at the beginning. So it
Oh
makes
no, we're gonna talk about that right now.
no, because that way
and then
it'll make more sense when I'm on with Bo and I say, "Oh my God, it's later," because I said that because we were recording this after I recorded with Bo.
You better cut out this part where you explain this shit.
Nah, I think I'll leave it in. Minimal
Whatever,
editing.
It's your podcast now,
Minimal
Captain
editing.
Kevin. I'm Ollie Matthews. I'm just hanging out over here doing whatever I want. I'm playing too much Baldur's Gate.
Kevin Miner. I like to lift weights.
Who are you talking to this week, Cody? Let's move this along.
I'm talking to friend of the show, Bo Ismono, who will be here any second. He's gonna be any moment. He's gonna be.
He's
here.
walking through that door, right?
He's walking through the door.
Hold on, Bo.
Hollywood, get out of the
over
way.
here. Come on.
Hollywood, let
Bo,
him in. Hollywood,
yeah,
no.
Hollywood,
stop
no.
kicking him.
Don't
Hollywood.
stop. Yeah, let him through.
Let Bo
Put
through.
the scissors down. You're running away with them? Okay, yeah,
It's okay,
you'll get
Hollywood.
what you deserve.
Hollywood can run with scissors. That's fine.
Yeah. Bo, come here. Sit down. Crisscross applesauce. Welcome to the show, Bo. Welcome to the show.
Kevin, can you step out of the room for a second?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. It's the future. And now Bo Ismono is here replacing Kevin, who, as I mentioned at the start, is putting on a one-man show on Broadway about what it's like to be a coffee barista. So welcome to the podcast, Bo. Welcome back to the podcast,
Hi.
I should say.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And again, thank you so much for being on my podcast last week.
Yeah, it's like a trade.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So you have come on today to talk about Marvel movies, not just the MCU, but I told you we could do a top 5, bottom 5 with some honorable and dishonorable mentions for all Marvel movies and properties that have kind of come out, because I don't know, have you been watching Daredevil Born Again?
Not
That's
yet.
been going?
Not yet. I'm
Okay.
not sure if I want to watch it. I'm kind of torn because I like Daredevil. I did, and as far as I can remember, I did enjoy the first season, but I cannot remember anything about the season, which gives me some clues that it might not have been that great.
Yeah,
I'm not
so
sure.
the Netflix show, I really liked the first season, and I think the second season is memorable because that's where the Punisher showed up with John Bernthal. It was his
Wasn't it?
first appearance.
Oh, okay. I
and
can't
so
remember.
Daredevil Born Again, so far it's really good. That's part of the reason, because Kevin
Okay.
and I were originally going to do this topic, but then he's actually in the Dominican Republic. So I was like, oh, Bo is a perfect person to talk about superhero movies with.
Cool.
Because I think Daredevil Born Again is definitely worth watching. So
Okay.
far, I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's just nice to see all those characters come back in a way that they have the writing and the budget that they didn't over at Netflix. So I feel like it's a lot better now.
Do you think you need to rewatch the first 2 seasons to get into this third season?
So I watched a recap on YouTube, like a 5-minute everything you need to know, because
Okay.
I never even watched the third season. And it seems like some stuff carried over, but then some stuff they retconned. So, because there's a character in the Punisher show called Microchip,
Mhm.
who in Spider-Man Homecoming, the character Microchip was played by a different actor. So there are some things that they couldn't bring over. And the guy that played Microchip is now the Thing in the new Fantastic Four. So it's definitely, I think it's new enough, I think.
Okay, I might consider it because now that you mentioned Punisher, that series is actually in one of my lists. So
Okay, well, let's get into it then. That's a perfect segue. I say, let's start with the worst.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it's more fun to go bad first. And also, Kevin has given me his list because he doesn't want to be excluded. So we're just gonna mention his.
Yeah. Can I kind of preface my lists by saying I intentionally did not include Infinity Wars and Endgame because I feel those are really good movies and very easy picks. So for me,
Yeah.
those are it's known, or for me at least, it's an obvious choice. Infinity Wars and Endgame, those are amazing. So I did not intentionally did not include them in my list.
I
So
also feel like those two kind of go hand in hand. Like you
mhm,
can't really
mhm.
have one without the other.
Yeah,
So
agreed,
I
agreed.
agree. I also avoided the Avengers movies, all of them. So
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
And
Uh,
I also wanted to mention that I also did not include um, the Sony universe because it would be because I wasn't sure if you wanted them to be in here in this list as
oh, they're
well.
in here.
Okay, okay. Oh, then I could extend my worst list to be honest.
There
But
you go. That's where they belong.
yeah.
uh, okay, so we'll just kick it off. So the first one that I put on for my bottom five was the Fan Four Stick movie, the like gritty reboot where they're all
Yeah,
sad and
yeah.
upset, and the Thing gets
I
his
forgot about
catchphrase.
that one.
Yeah, my favorite thing about that movie, and I'm gonna cover it on Magnum Opus for the new Fantastic Four.
Uh-huh.
My favorite part about that reboot is that the Thing, famous for having the catchphrase "It's clobbering time," in that movie he gets that catchphrase because his older brother would beat him up. Like,
I,
not not good.
honestly, I think that movie wasn't. It was bad, but I think the worst thing about that movie was the portrayal of Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
I did not like how they kind of sticked all of this metal with this greenish stuff to his face. That
he's
was
too
weird.
smooth. Yeah,
Yeah, that was a
he's
weird choice.
yeah. I didn't like that at all. Doctor
Yeah.
Doom famously has just a mask.
Yeah,
You
but I
know.
forgot about that movie entirely. So that probably would have gone onto my list as well.
Yeah, it's bad. What you got for your first one?
The first one, Eternals. I
Ooh,
think that one
ooh,
is terrible. I almost fell asleep. I felt it was very convoluted. It was all over the place with the story.
yeah.
It could have been better. I feel like if it would have been a series without
Mm,
A-list actors. I mean, it's only
yeah.
one A-list actor, if I remember correctly, only Angelina
Jolie.
Jolie,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
then the rest was kind of like mid-tier. Yeah, but I feel like if that would have been a series, maybe a 7-part
Mm,
series concentrating on each character, it could have been better, but still, it was very boring. To some degree, it felt like, okay, here are a bunch of Greek gods that are basically invincible, and there are no stakes at all, or to some degree, there were stakes, but it just felt
but we know the Earth
overpowered.
isn't gonna blow up. Like
Yeah,
we know that the Celestial. Spoiler alert for
yeah,
Eternals, but like we know
yeah,
the Celestial can't hatch because then Earth goes away. So
yeah,
like it's kind of hard to do that kind of stake
yeah.
when I agree. I think for the Eternals, I just recently watched that a few months ago. I had
Mm,
avoided it for a while. I think my biggest issue with that was uh they didn't do anything, and they
mhm.
just announced the casting for the new Avengers movies, and there has been nothing about the
Yeah.
Eternals since that movie came out. I mean, they just acknowledged the giant celestial in Captain America Brave New Bird.
Mm.
So I feel like they also set a lot of stuff up and then didn't do anything with it.
But that's it's basically the problem with a lot of movies that need to introduce a bunch of characters very fast in just one movie,
Mhm.
and you just cannot do that easily and kind of show all of them properly to make the viewer attached to them. I mean, a completely different example, but a good example is Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean,
Yeah.
still there are 4 or 5 characters, and they were able to kind of pull it off to introduce the characters properly, helping you to be kind of attached to the characters. But with Eternals, I feel so detached from all of them.
Yeah, I didn't care about any of them
Yeah, exactly. It was
at
so
all.
difficult to, yeah, as you said, care. It's
Yeah.
like that's basically the reason why I almost fell asleep.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
So, have you seen X-Men The Last Stand?
Yes, I think so.
That's the original third one in the first set of X-Men movies. There are
It's
too many X-Men
but
movies.
The Last Stand is not the one where we have Dark Phoenix in there with the girl from Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones. So it's the one with Dark Phoenix, but with the adult
Yeah, yeah,
older.
yeah.
Yeah, that one
That was.
is the next one on my list because I
Oh,
remember the
really?
first time I saw that. I remember just walking away being so unsatisfied because X2
Mm.
was incredible. That's where
Yeah,
they
it
introduced
was.
Nightcrawler. The effects really got good, but I just
Mm.
remember the highs of the second one and then going into X-Men 3, they kill Cyclops immediately. There's nothing
Mm.
interesting. The stakes are like Magneto's now a villain again,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
though he was a
yeah, yeah.
good guy. Like, I just feel like they didn't know how to really kind
Interesting.
of finish that trilogy because a
Mm.
lot of the characters kind of they do something in the first movie and then they kind of resolve that character arc, and then in the very next movie they kind of have the exact same character arc. Like nobody really develops, I
Yeah, yeah,
feel.
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of get what you're saying, but for me, I mean, I also forgot about that movie, hence the reason why it probably wasn't good. However, when I watched that, I was a huge X-Men fan, or still am. I
Yeah.
watched the cartoon when I was a kid, and back then, when that movie came out, we didn't have that many comic movies. So I think I had like a filter, like the sunshine glasses on, and
Yeah.
when I watched that, and I felt like, oh, this is so amazing. But I kind of get what you're saying. It's not a good movie.
Yeah.
You're
A little bit of a
right. Yeah,
letdown.
yeah, yeah. So my second part on this list, and again, I kind of only looked at the MCU, was Captain Marvel. I don't know. I'm
Mm,
not. I'm a little bit. I'm torn. I'm not sure if I don't like the movie because the movie isn't that great. On one hand, I feel that her hero's journey wasn't that well developed. I feel like she
no.
just got her power and then she's just powerful and there wasn't much of a learning curve. But I'm not sure if I'm kind of biased because I saw so many interviews of her making her very. I kind of disliked her. She was very rude in some interviews, and I'm not
Yeah.
sure if that kind of taints my vision on that movie. I'm not 100% sure, but at least I wasn't entertained when I watched the movie.
I
That's
think that
what
the
I can
interview
say.
part is super valid given the fact that right now we just talked about Snow White, and part
Mm,
of the like reason people are upset about that movie is some interviews with the main star Rachel Zegler and things that
mm,
she said in interviews that some people disagreed with and some of it was just really cringy. So I
yeah,
think
yeah.
some people kind of went in with that attitude, and I think actors outside of movies can definitely taint your view
Mm,
of them in movies. Like Kevin Spacey, I can't watch any of his movies now that I know
yeah, I can.
he's a
Yeah,
sex criminal.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's so I agree. I think Captain Marvel also, I'm upset that that's the role Jude Law picked for the MCU because he's just wasted. It's another villain that just shows up and then he's defeated, and it's another great actor that we're
Mm.
never gonna see again.
But we have the multiverse. I mean, you can never say never.
Maybe.
I mean, we have um, the actor who plays Craven has been now like in multiple roles,
Yeah.
basically. And I mean, Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doctor Doom. I
That's
mean,
gonna be interesting.
yeah.
I have mixed feelings about Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. So, mm,
Well, I agree. Until yesterday, I watched, I think it was on Looper or on some YouTube video where they kind of explained Doctor Doom and how Doctor Doom, I wasn't aware of that, but Doctor Doom has this power that he can switch bodies. And therefore, in some comics, Iron
mm.
Man has been Doctor Doom. I wasn't aware of that. So if they kind of integrate that and to some degree, in addition to the multiverse, it could be interesting.
I think that's what they're gonna do because there is a version. I think it's called. I think it's Superior Iron Man, where Victor Von Doom, who looks like Victor Von Doom,
Mm.
takes up the mantle of Iron Man. So I think
Yeah.
they're kind of smushing some stuff together. But I do know we just learned that basically this is so the Kang stuff that they canceled because
Mm.
Jonathan Majors is also a criminal.
Yeah.
A lot of
But
criminals
I
out
felt
there.
like Kang was just really stupid.
Well, that's the thing. So apparently they were going to do the Kang saga, and then when they wrapped that up, then Doctor Doom was going to be the villain. So we just
Mm.
basically skipped
Oh, I
like a big
see.
chunk of what they were
Interesting.
planning,
Interesting.
and they pretty much wrapped up the whole Kang stuff with Loki
Oh,
season
I
2.
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
very interesting. What's also interesting is the next one on my list. A lot of X-Men movies on my list. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that.
The one
Yeah.
where they sewed Deadpool's mouth
Yeah.
shut,
Yeah, yeah,
famous
yeah.
Merc with a mouth. They
Yeah.
gave the worst looking claws of Wolverine. It
Yeah.
it astounds me that in the first 3 X-Men movies, his claws look incredible. I
Yeah.
recently watched a clip from the first X-Men, the first time his claws come out, and it looks like you see the skin break
Yeah,
open
yeah,
and
yeah.
like they slowly come out. It looks, and then you get to the X-Men Origins Wolverine 9 years later, and it looks like it was done with like Final Cut Pro. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
so
Uh,
bad.
I have, I mean, I just have, how you call it, a sweet spot, or I like all of the Wolverine movies to some degree, which is a testament to Hugh Jackman. I mean,
Oh
he's an
yeah.
amazing
He's
actor,
incredible.
and that role just, I have no clue how they are going to be able to recast him. It's impossible,
Oh
actually.
yeah.
I'm not.
I don't that's why I don't think they're going to. I think he's gonna stick around even
I don't
longer.
know. Did you see those pictures of Daniel Radcliffe in this?
Yes.
I'm not sure. Was that shot for Deadpool versus Wolverine, and is that maybe in an inside an extended cut in the future? I
I
mean,
think
that
that
would be
was
pretty
all
cool.
like fan done.
Oh,
But
okay.
I would love to see. Daniel Radcliffe is also short,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Wolverine's canonically a short king. So
Exactly,
like
exactly. So I can kind of see that. Having him
Yeah.
cast into that role, that would be kind of cool. And I kind of wish that inside Deadpool versus Wolverine, they kind of opened up to that.
Yeah, passed the mantle a little bit.
Yeah, that would be cool. So introduce Wolverine from a different multiverse, and yeah, and then just use that.
Yeah.
But they didn't
Yeah.
do it. I don't know
Mm,
why.
yeah.
So the
Hmm.
next one on my list is Doctor. Speaking of multiverse, Doctor Strange Multiverse.
I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I didn't like it because not necessarily because of the story. I felt it was shot terribly. It looked
Mm.
very digital. It just took me out of it. The way it was shot and how clean everything looked. It just felt iffy. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of felt that. I have a lot of issues with that movie, and it's interesting because it's Sam Raimi who did the
Exactly.
first 3 Spider-Mans
Yeah.
and Evil Dead and
Yeah.
all of that, and I still feel like it definitely has his touch, like the tracking cameras and his like zooming
Yeah.
into eyes.
Yeah.
But I agree, it just doesn't. It looks too Marvel-fied for
Yeah.
having a director of his caliber. I
Yeah.
feel like they really nullified him.
Yeah. Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's why I was really disappointed. I like Sam Raimi, especially all of the Evil Dead stuff. And it was, yeah, that was, yeah, Evil Dead. Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just felt kind of bad watching that. I didn't like it.
Yeah, and I personally didn't like the story. I didn't and I know a
Yeah.
lot of people like this movie because it was basically like the Illuminati are pretty dumb, but I just can't get over Reed Richards being the smartest man alive and then just giving away their biggest weapon to Wanda immediately with Black Bolt. Like I just
I
it's hard to
totally
imagine that
forgot about that.
it's hard to imagine the Illuminati took
Yeah.
down Thanos, which took every Marvel character we've ever met, but then they can't take down Scarlet Witch, who was
Yeah.
defeated by Thanos at one point. Like it
Yeah.
just there was things with that, like it's hard for me to be like, well, you did this, so why are you doing this? Because
Mm.
that's what happens when you have, 30 movies. So
I mean, you see, that is kind of the common denominator of my list. I forget about stuff inside the movie. I forgot about the best part in Doctor Strange Multiverse. It just, I don't know, it just bored me a little bit, and
yeah.
the visuals took me out of it. All right, yeah, that was my third one on the list.
I feel that.
Yeah.
So my fourth one is a movie. I used to love this movie when I was younger. I rewatched it 3 weeks ago
Okay.
and was like, why did I ever like this? And this is the 2004 Punisher movie with Thomas Jane.
Oh, that was great. That's on your worst list?
So
Really?
here's why. I
Okay.
rewatched it because I remember distinctly the fight with the giant Popeye, the dude with the striped shirt in his apartment, where it's one of like,
Excuse me.
bless you, it's one of the best fight scenes like in a Marvel movie. Like, it's so well done, and that still holds up. But everything else about this movie, I forgot how boring it is. It's not interesting enough for me to enjoy it anymore.
Really? I mean, I really like the fight. I always like fights where the villain, in air quotes, doesn't realize or underestimates the other one. And my favorite scene in that movie is where the ex-boyfriend of the neighbor is in the hallway, and he comes out, and then Thomas Jane beats that guy up. I think that one's really cool. I like the torturing scene where he only has like a popsicle, and it's like, okay, that's
where he's faking it.
Yeah, that's what it feels like when all of your nerves are getting burned. That feels cold, but in that
see, but that's the thing is, I think that those few moments are what people remember, because those are the only moments that, to me, that are good when I rewatch it. There's a lot of him standing around. There's a lot of him, like, there's a lot of shots where he's just standing there and sulking about his family. And it's also, the Punisher is one of my favorite. He's in my top 3 of all time favorite characters. He's a former Marine. I'm a former Marine. Like, I love the Punisher. But what makes his story so like basic and also kind of unique is that it's just his wife and kids that are killed in the mob attack. But in that movie, they wipe out like his extended family. They wipe out everybody. And it's just like, I don't know. There's just things when I rewatched it that I was like, man, it's not, especially because the new Punisher show with John Bernthal was so good and it's so Punisher. This one just doesn't feel as Punisher.
But I'm gonna question your decision here. Did you watch the other Punisher?
Warzone?
Yeah, that one is even more terrible. I switched it off after halfway.
We're gonna have an interesting conversation here very soon.
Okay, you haven't watched it yet.
Oh no, it's on my list here. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Holy shit! Okay. We're gonna. All right. Okay, then on my list, to get through the worst 5, on number 4 is the Hawkeye series. I feel
what a letdown.
Yeah, it was such a wasted potential. It was like, okay, this is going to be airing around Christmas, so like, let's make a Christmas story out of it. It was so stupid. I really like Jeremy Renner, and I also like the character of Hawkeye because he's so much aware after a few movies that he's basically worthless.
Yeah, he's just a dude with a bow and arrow, but he's on the Avengers.
And he's so self-aware, which makes him so interesting to me.
Yeah.
And they wasted it completely.
Hawkeye has not been used nearly as well as I feel like he could have been.
Yeah. Agreed.
In like, my favorite Hawkeye moment in the entire MCU is in Civil War when he has to fight the Vision when he's trying to rescue Wanda, and he's just a dude that's so tired. Like, he's sighing and he's like, all right, here we go. Like, I'm not gonna win, but let's go.
Exactly.
Like, and
so good.
I think the Hawkeye show, again, I think the thing that people remember is the car chase where they finally use trick arrows.
Yeah.
But that's like the only thing I remember from that show.
Yeah. And I mean, that kind of solidifies my reasoning for why I don't like Captain Marvel. Because I feel like Captain Marvel doesn't have any weaknesses. Or at least they aren't portrayed in any way. She doesn't have any weaknesses in terms of her power. She feels so I mean, power to you that you're so self-confident with everything. And you don't have any I don't know. It feels like you don't have any drama in your
Yeah.
tragic moments in your life. Good for you, but it's so uninteresting.
I think that's the biggest, and that's the Superman problem that people talk about, where they're like, how do you write a
Yeah.
character that has no weaknesses? And I think that's where I think a lot of characters are hard to write that way. And like characters like Superman, they have a weakness. It's just people like Zack Snyder and people that have like previously directed Superman movies don't really know how to use that weakness in a way that makes sense. And I think that's the same thing with Captain Marvel. Like the only time I think she ever gets hit is when Thanos pulls out the Power Stone and then punches her with it. But even that, it just knocks her back.
Yeah.
So it's
exactly.
like, okay.
It's so boring.
Yeah, she flies through the ship like a rocket.
Mhm.
Like, cool shot. But like, yeah, it's a little.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm with you.
So yeah, Hawkeye. What's your
So
fifth?
rounding mine out. Speaking of the Sony movies, is the movie that made me almost give up on cinema, Madam Web. I hated that.
Did not watch it because I think I didn't like the trailer even.
No, it was as bad as it looked. Now, I will give Madam Web credit for one thing and one thing only. Watching this movie is what solidified me starting my Magnum Opus channel. I watched it and I was like, movies are bad. Somebody needs to tell people that movies are bad. Let's talk about bad movies. And so
Yeah.
Madam Web feels like a fan film for somebody that's never
Yeah.
watched Marvel. Like a fan
Yeah,
a
I
fan
get
of
that.
DC was like, I'm gonna make a Marvel movie. Like
Yeah.
that's what it feels like.
I got that feeling just from watching the trailer. I totally get it.
My favorite thing about Madam Web, and eventually I'm gonna do, actually probably here in the next few months, I'm gonna do all the Sony Marvel movies in one video, talk about all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing about Madam Web that I think everybody talks about because it's the funniest thing is half of the dialogue is ADR'd. So whatever they recorded on the
Oh.
day, they're dubbing over it. So the villain, his mouth is moving and he's saying things that do not match at all, and it's super obvious.
Oh, that's
It's kind of
bad.
like Craven. They CGI'd lips
Oh,
to
really?
match the ADR, and it looks. If
I
you get a
actually-
chance,
I
look
wanted
it up
to
on
watch
YouTube.
it I wanted to watch Craven yesterday because it's on sale
Yeah.
on Amazon for this podcast, but I was so tired yesterday, so I didn't do it.
Still watch it. Okay, I'm in the minority where Craven to me is so bad it's good. Like I love Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, he's
I love
amazing.
just a rip guy running around on all fours beating people up. Like I had a fun time with it,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of things on it. Like again, if you look at the mouths, some of them look really weird because they're CGI'd, and I think that's really funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So my top 5, and I don't. It feels like that I'm picking on Captain Marvel, but I have a couple of different. So next one is the Marvels. Also switch it off after about half.
Didn't
mark.
watch it. I skipped it.
And it's the same reason for Eternals. It's too many characters. I mean, it's only 3 and one is already established. And okay, the other one is established somewhat, and the other one has a series that I never watched, but still it felt too much.
It looked boring.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
After Doctor Strange, I basically stopped seeing almost everything that Marvel produced. I didn't watch like She-Hulk. I didn't watch the Marvels. I didn't watch Miss Marvel. I watched the shows and things that I wanted to, but up until the new Captain America movie, I hadn't seen a Marvel movie in theaters since Doctor Strange because I couldn't do it anymore. They all looked so, and I'll give any movie a chance, but when everybody universally is like it was boring, then
It's
I'm like, okay, it's
oversaturated.
probably boring. Yeah.
It's totally oversaturated. But okay, now we got the terrible part done. So shall we?
Let me get through
top 5?
Kevin's real quick. Here's Kevin's bottom 5. I'm gonna rattle these off. These are weird choices, but Kevin is not a Kevin is Kevin. So he has, in descending order from like 5 to 1, he has Captain America: Civil War.
What?
Avengers: Infinity War, Avengers:
trolling.
Endgame, Avengers Age of Ultron and Avengers, and his note that he sent me is team up movies are dumb. So,
But did he watch the movies leading up to those?
honestly, probably not knowing him, but that's his
Yeah,
list.
but because I can kind of understand if you do not watch the first movies leading up to those movies, then his argument would be the same argument like I have with Eternals.
Mhm.
Because Eternals doesn't have movies leading up to them, so you don't know the characters, and therefore you will be overwhelmed by the amount of characters. So
Yeah.
by that logic, I would say if you didn't watch the movies leading up to that, I can kind of see what he means.
Kevin's also a big Snyder DC fan, so
I gotta go. Sorry. Bye.
all right, let's go through the best movie. Let's go through the best movies.
Okay.
So my first one on my favorites is Punisher Warzone, the Punisher movie that you just famously said you didn't like.
Interesting. Okay.
So, and here's my justification. First off, before like in the mid 2000s, there's two comic book castings that I think people really overlook when it comes to the accuracy. And the first one is J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons in the first three Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, okay.
Just absolutely perfect casting. But Ray Stevenson as the Punisher is, I love John Berthnell, but Ray Stevenson is the Punisher. He is a giant lumbering dude who's like in his 40s, and he is mean, he is nasty, and he is rude. And that is exactly what the Punisher is.
Okay, maybe. Okay.
And another thing I will say about this movie, as a Punisher fan, there are so many kills ripped straight from the comic books. Like when he rocket launchers that parkour guy, that is straight from a comic book panel. Like a lot of the kills, the director of this, I can't remember her name, but when she was offered to do it, she wasn't a Punisher fan. She hadn't read anything about Punisher. But when she read all the comics, she said in an interview, she's like, I realized I could be as gory and nasty as I want because that's all the Punisher is. And he's just, I mean, he shoves a dude in a glass compactor. Like, he's just mean. And that's what you want from the Punisher.
Okay, I will give it a rewatch. And all right.
Watch it with the mindset of knowing this isn't supposed to be a likable guy. This is supposed to be a guy who will kill anybody and everybody. I mean, the movie opens with him like lighting a flare and then running across a dining room table and snapping an old dude's neck who's in a wheelchair and then stabbing an old lady. Like,
yeah, okay. From
he's
that
just
perspective.
mean.
Okay. I will give it a rewatch and take a look. Yeah.
I think Ray Stevenson as the Punisher, because the Punisher is famously like a Jack Reacher type guy. He's big, he's tall, he's a military veteran, and like John Berthnell is incredible, and I love him as the Punisher, and I'm so excited that he's back as the Punisher. But in terms of like best casting for the Punisher, I would give it to Ray Stevenson.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
yeah. That's my argument.
All right. So the first one on my list is the one Marvel movie many people seem to forget when they talk about Black Panther, and that is Blade. Because everyone was saying, oh, finally a comic book character around a black person or a person of color. And I'm like, did you all forget about Wesley Snipes? What the hell is going on here?
After he went to jail for tax evasion, everyone forgot about him.
Yeah, but I think he was the best portrayal of Blade and one of the best introduction. I mean, that movie was so good, no one knew that it was a comic adaptation.
Yeah.
And because everyone who were thinking about comic adaptations back then were only thinking about the bad ones, like Batman. I mean, they were, for what they were, good, but they were very saturated, a little bit over the top, maybe for kids. And when people were thinking about comic book movies, they were thinking about the bad ones, like George Clooney or Val Kilmer in a bad suit with nipples, and
Yeah.
Jim Carrey as the Riddler. That's
Yeah, the
what
campy
people were.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there was Blade, and it was like R-rated, at least in Germany, and
Hmm.
no one knew that it was a comic book adaptation, and it was so good, and it's a classic, and that's why I
That
think it's great.
Yeah, Blade. Blade. I remember vividly because it opens with a nightclub where
Yeah,
the sprinklers spray blood, and he's
yeah,
just there killing
yeah.
vampires. And it's so good. And it's crazy to me that they cast a Blade for the MCU 6 years ago. They cast
Mm,
Mahershala Ali, Oscar-winning actor Mahershala
mm,
Ali, perfect for Blade. And they have gone through, I counted, it was 3 directors and
yeah,
4 writers.
yeah,
And all Blade is just have him fight vampires. At one
yeah,
point, they were going to put it in the 1920s.
yeah. It's
Another one,
so
it was going to be like a
stupid.
multiverse. It's like, just set him anywhere in the current MCU and just be like, yeah, there's vampires here, and he's here to fight them.
Yeah,
Like, I don't understand how we haven't gotten another Blade movie, but at least Wesley Snipes came back for Deadpool and Wolverine.
I think it's just this is just speculation on my part. Maybe influenced by some of the gossip movie channels that I know. The
Mm,
all of the direction where they want to go with the script, and I feel like wanting to add too much politics into it, in air quotes,
mm.
in huge air quotes politics. I feel like that's kind of stupid, and
Yeah, that's kind of the issue with the new Captain America is, and I don't think this was intentional because it was filmed way before any of this, but it's kind of mirrored Trump right now.
Mm.
And
Oh,
again, like,
really? I didn't watch it yet, so I
it's
don't know.
it's fine, but it came out in February, so right after he was inaugurated, and there's an assassination attempt on the president, and the president might not be that great, and maybe there's like some other like political stuff that just happened. And the thing is if you look at that movie on the whole, those are very like, with the story it's trying to tell, yeah, those plot points make sense. It's just unfortunate that it mirrors some other terrible plot
Yeah, yeah, I
points
see.
in real life.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. uh
Oh,
so
okay. All right. So,
mine,
what's your second?
my next one is, and this movie is not good, but I
Okay,
don't care because I love it. The first Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage.
it's not that bad, but
I love
it's
it.
yeah, it's a cool
I
movie.
I saw that movie in theaters when I was like a young teenager. I think I was like 14 or 15,
Mm.
and I became obsessed with the idea of a chain as a weapon. Like Ghost
Mm.
Rider he's just so cool.
Yeah,
I don't know how
yeah.
else to say. He's just cool.
I'm kind of wondering why they haven't rebooted that.
Yeah, I wondered
Bec-
that too.
because with the current CGI capabilities, it wouldn't be that
Mm,
difficult. And I feel like going back to Eternals again, you could argue that Ghost Rider is a little bit cheesy, a little bit
mm-hmm.
B movie style, but it's still entertaining. While something like Eternals is just plain boring. I'd rather have something that is kind of stupid
Mm.
than something that just bores me to death.
That totally. I
Yeah,
covered both the Ghost Riders in one video
yeah,
a few months back on my channel, and that was kind of my point. I was like, yeah, like, is the plot point super coherent? No, but who cares when Ghost
yeah,
Rider is jumping off buildings and using flaming whips, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, it's supposed to be that way, I think. And especially the second one, I think they really lean into just the hokiness,
Mm.
where it's just like at one point in the second one, somebody shoots him in the mouth, and then he spits the bullets back out, levitates upside down, and spins in a circle shooting people. We never see him do that. Like, I don't think Ghost Rider has floating powers, but
No, I
like,
don't think
it's
so.
fine. Who cares?
Yeah, but yeah, that one, yeah, man,
Yeah.
we had a lot of Marvel films that kind of got
Yeah.
lost. All right, my next one is, and I'm not sure, I didn't put this list in a particular order, so don't. I'm not sure if that's in
Oh no,
which
it's yeah.
position. Civil War. I like that one.
That
It's
almost made my list.
yeah, because what I like about Civil War and what I like about Thanos, for example, as a villain, I like when you sympathize, or maybe not sympathize, but kind of understand where the villain is coming from. With Thanos, he's a villain through and through, and he wants to destroy the whole galaxy or half of the galaxy. But you kind of understand, oh, you want to do that because we are overpopulated.
Yeah.
And in Civil War, there basically is no good or bad, but just friends who disagree. And
There's three sides in it,
yeah,
really.
and it's
Yeah.
so complicated, and therefore it is so interesting because
Yeah.
you don't know on which side you are on as a viewer, and that's what I like about that.
I agree. I think what I liked about Civil War, and it was super refreshing, and I wish we would get more of this, but the villain is just a dude who he even says, like, I can't punch them, so I'm going to destroy them a different way. And I
Yeah.
think Marvel's really missed out on villains that don't rely on brute strength. And technically, there is a villain in the new Captain America movie who is supposed to be like that, but they use him so poorly that doesn't work the same way. But yeah, Civil War, especially introducing Spider-Man, so good.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mentioned I don't like a lot of the X-Men movies, but I will say that one of the best Marvel movies is X-Men First Class. I think
That's good. Yeah.
I think that is probably, in terms of X-Men movies, not like spin-offs, but with X-Men in the title, I think that's the best one. Because I'll like, it's either that one or Days of Future Past. One of those is probably the best.
So you consider an X-Men movie only an X-Men movie if more X-Men are in the movie, or would you consider Logan also an X-Men
Oh,
movie?
that's what I'm saying. I would say that like Logan is better than all of the X-Men team up movies. I
Okay.
would say like Deadpool and Wolverine is better than all. Like
Yeah.
for me, Logan is probably the best movie about X-Men, I would say.
Okay.
For sure. So yeah, but First Class, I for one, amazing cast. Just
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender
Yeah.
and the guy that plays Xavier. What is his name? Anyways, doesn't matter. He's in so much stuff, and now I can't think of his name.
I want to say the King of Scotland, but that's the movie that
Maybe.
was in. No, I forgot.
yeah.
I know.
Just a
really.
totally great cast.
Yeah.
I really like the way that they do everything. I mean, just everything in it is so well done.
Yeah.
And the Quicksilver bit. I mean, that's the first time we got something like that with
That
the
is
speedster.
so good. Yeah,
And
that scene is
movies are
amazing.
still trying to do it better, and for some reason they can't. Like, have you seen Space Jam: A New Legacy?
No.
So they do a Quicksilver bit in that, and it's so bad. But yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I mean, then I'm just going to continue with X-Men. Logan. For me, Logan
yes.
is on my list. I just like when characters are flawed and show, not characters, when superhero characters show weaknesses. And that makes it so interesting to me. And Logan, for me, is one of the few superhero characters that have a lot of weaknesses in conjunction or in combination with their strength, and that makes it interesting. And that's why I think it's an amazing movie.
I think James Mangold, who did the Wolverine and he did Logan, and then he's done like a ton of really great movies like Ford v Ferrari, and I guess he did the new Indiana Jones, which but
okay.
Well, we don't talk about that. But I think Logan, what I really liked about it when I saw it in theaters was they really strip Logan back, and I think, and some people have complained about Logan being overpowered with his healing factor in a lot of other X-Men movies where he can basically survive a literal atomic blast. And I think going back to your complaint with the Marvels and, Superman and stuff, where it's like, how do you write an invincible character to be vulnerable? And I think, you just write a compelling reason for him to be stripped down to his basic thing. And with Logan, it's just like, he's old, and his poison's his body's poisoned, his healing's not that great, and he has bone claws. And it's like, cool, he's still Logan, he's just completely depowered.
I really like that.
I think the world in Logan, I think Logan is to me what a lot of movies kind of miss the mark on with this, and that's giving us a world that we have so many questions about, and
Hmm.
it gives you just enough answers where you can put it together, but without
Yeah.
kind of over explaining it. Like, Professor X destroyed the X-Men because of his, like, his mind
Yeah.
deteriorating.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, you don't need to see that. You don't need to know what happened. You just need to know it happened and people are sad about it.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
know what? I usually 9 out of 10 times I don't like when there are kid actors in a movie, but in this one, the casting perfect.
Oh, Daphne Keane is
Yeah, perfect.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's great.
really good.
So have you seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the first animated Spider-Man?
Yes. Yeah,
That is just perfect. Like, one of the, like, most perfect Marvel superhero movies you can get. Like,
it's good.
everything
Yeah.
about that to me is, it's a compelling main character, there's a
Mhm.
compelling narrative, there's good conflict, it's a good villain. It's just, I
Yeah.
love the mentorship.
100% agree.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
just so good. I
Yeah.
love everything about it. And the animation is just, I I love when studios will try or experiment with animation where not everything looks the same. Like, not everything is just
Mhm.
your
Mhm.
DreamWorks or your Pixar. Like, there's an animated Ninja Turtles movie that kind of has the same style
Mm.
as Across
I
the
didn't
Spider-Verse.
watch that yet.
It's good. I liked
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I just, these animated movies recently have really stepped up. So, like, there's a movie called Flow. It's on Apple TV. It won an
Okay.
Oscar. The guy made the movie on a free animation studio software.
That's amazing.
And I watched it and I was like, let's see, like, what this movie is. It's about a cat who ends up on a raft with other animals. There's, like, no speaking in it, and it's
Okay.
incredible. Like, just so good.
Okay.
Like,
Okay. Interesting.
yeah,
Flow.
very, very, definitely worth checking out. Just because, even if animated movies and stuff aren't really your jam, just watching this, knowing that this guy made it on a free animation software
Mm.
and won an Oscar, I think you should watch it just based off of that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So your next one was animation, and I'm not sure if I should kind of lump these two together, but the next one, or maybe the next two, is Deadpool 1 and Deadpool versus Wolverine. I just
Mm.
like the characters that much, and I find the movie so interesting, and I like the origin story of the production of Deadpool. With,
Yes.
for some reason, and for the audio listeners, I put my hands up and do these air quotes. For some reason, this one test movie for Deadpool got leaked.
Ryan Reynolds leaked it.
Yeah, exactly.
He leaked it.
Exactly.
100%. I think
Got
he admitted
leaked.
that.
Yeah, somewhat, but not
Yeah.
100%. And that's how this movie got greenlit. And I think that is so amazing. And I found the first one really good. The second one was okay,
Yeah.
but the third one, so Deadpool versus Wolverine, was really good. That one was amazing.
I love the third Deadpool movie because, again, it's one of those that I'm like, I love cameos.
Yeah.
I will be the first to admit I love a good cameo,
Yeah.
especially in superhero movies. Throw people in the background, that's great. But at the same time, I think there's a fine line between a cameo and somebody overstaying their welcome. And I think Deadpool and Wolverine, the characters that they chose to keep around, like Gambit and Elektra and Blade, and you get to see all these little hints at things. I think it was done. To me, it was the perfect amount of, oh,
Yeah.
look at this thing. Now we're moving on. Oh, look
Yeah.
at this thing. Now we're moving on.
Yeah.
While you can still be engaged with a
Agreed.
pretty compelling plot, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally. I like
I
that.
loved it. I saw that. Actually, I ended up seeing that a couple times in theaters. I went back. I think I saw it. I want to say I saw it 3 times in theaters.
I saw it once in theater and 2 times on what do you call it, on TV,
Streaming?
on streaming. Yeah, on
I
streaming.
haven't watched it since it was out of the theaters. I need to watch it again because now
Yeah.
I can pause and I
Yeah,
can look
yeah,
at
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I can look at all the stuff. So I struggled with trying to figure out what my favorite Marvel movie is because there's a lot, and I
Yeah.
love a lot of them. But I think an unpopular opinion, because he has been my favorite comic book character forever is the Moon Knight series. And I think it's completely I don't think it's the best series. I don't think it's the best Marvel thing, but Moon Knight has been one of my favorite characters forever. I love the fact that he has the multiple personality that he switches between, but I love anything around mythology, specifically like Egyptian mythology and Greek mythology. I'm a huge nerd for all of that. And Moon Knight, he's like kind of like the Punisher. He's mean, and he does his own thing. And I think, yeah.
Interesting. I'm not sure what my favorite Marvel movie is. I'm just going to say my next one or two because I'm not sure about which one would actually be in the top 5. So this is more of a top 6. Next would be Punisher, the whole series. I really like the series.
Yeah. I didn't even think of. Well, I guess because I put Punisher Warzone, I didn't think about the series. But I recently just finished the 2nd season of that Punisher show.
It's so good.
It's really good. And my only complaint is that Jigsaw wasn't Jigsaw enough. He needed to have more scars. He needed to be more. He needed to be more gruesome, like Warzone.
I don't understand why didn't they make him more.
Well, the fight at the end of the first season, he is slamming his head against the glass and scraping it. So I expected it to be like the Warzone Jigsaw, where it's like disgusting, but it's just like a couple scars. He's still a handsome dude. Like
I wonder if the agent of that actor said like, "Oh no, I wonder if that would be the reason, because I just don't understand why they kept him that attractive.
Especially because that's the whole character of Billy Russo he is this attractive dude who gets so much off his looks, and then he doesn't have his looks anymore. So then he has to figure out other ways. But yeah.
I don't understand that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Just fantastic all around.
I really like, I mean, that's the reason I read a lot of the Jack Reacher books. And so I really like this lone wolf kind of character style, which is probably the reason why I gravitate to Punisher, to the series so much.
Yeah.
So I really like that series, and that's why it's in my list. But I couldn't tell you what my favorite Marvel movie is. I have no idea.
I think favorite Marvel TV show would be Moon Knight. Favorite Marvel movie, I think, would have to go to either Captain America: The Winter Soldier or that is really, really tough because there's a lot of good ones. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what really stands out to me. I think, or Spider-Man No Way Home, the one where all the Spider-Man.
That's
because
good,
the first Spider-Man Sam Raimi movie was the first comic book movie I saw, and it was also I want to say it was like the 3rd movie I got to see in theaters because I was still a wee lad.
Yeah.
So I think Spider-Man, though he's not one of my favorite characters, he has a special place in my heart because he's the first one I saw in theaters. So when all the Spider-Men came back, I was like, this is great.
you know what? There is a Spider-Man scene. Every time I watch that, I kind of tear up a little bit. And that's the scene of Tobey Maguire trying to break or stop the train, and where he's holding everything, and then he breaks down, and all of the people kind of hold him up and say like, "Oh, he's just a kid." Although, I mean,
this grown man is just
Tobey
a kid.
Maguire wasn't a kid, and during shooting, but that scene always kind of tears me up because it's so good and it's so emotionally loaded up. I really like that one. He looks like he's taking a poop, but still, it is a very good scene.
Yeah, I agree. Those first 3 Spider-Man movies. Well, the 3rd one is disappointing. I mean, that's the one where they had all the villains. It was Sandman, New Goblin, Venom, and hopefully there's rumors that maybe we'll get an official Spider-Man 4 with like an older Spider-Man, and Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire will come back, which I would watch that in a heartbeat. So yeah. And then so Kevin's list, and I don't know if he might be serious about this. It's hard to say.
He's
Kevin also
trolling.
loves to do jokes. He just put my 5 favorite Marvel movies are the 5 Sony movies, which would be the Venom trilogy, Craven, and Madam Web, and Morbius. You forgot about Morbius.
I didn't watch that yet.
Morbin time. Yeah. Bad. It's really bad.
Based on these 2 lists, I would assume that he's just trolling. He's oh no, I just learned that word. He's rage baiting. He's just wanting. He's just kind of attracting all of the comments now. I can
the
see
Snyder
that.
fandom telling. Yeah, I can see it.
You know what? To my last word is on Snyder. I don't like the way Snyder is telling stories and the way he's directing. However, I think the first Superman movie that he directed with I like
Henry
him.
Cavill.
Henry Cavill. I didn't like Henry Cavill before that movie, but I liked him in that movie, and now I really like Henry Cavill. But I think what Snyder did really good in that Superman movie is to show the vulnerability of Superman. The first time that Superman had to kill that mother and the kid, I believe, or those 2 innocent bystanders, where he had, I want to say Kang, but it's not Kang. What's
oh my god,
Zeus? No, Zod, Captain Zod.
Zod, yes,
or General Zod,
General
where he
Zod.
holds him and he has the lasers out of his eyes, and then he twists his neck and accidentally or intentionally, I'm not sure, because he didn't have a way to twist his head in a different direction, kills Zod and I believe some bystanders, if I'm not mistaken, but at least one person he killed. And I think that was like really traumatic, and I feel that was a good portrayal of showing a weakness of an otherwise very overpowered superhero.
I think that's what. So my thoughts on Snyder. I don't think he's a bad director necessarily. I think he's a mediocre writer, and I think he overuses a certain directing style of slow motion and like the pan arounds and everything. But he did put some really good moments in all of the DC Snyder ones. Like, I really like the line where Batman in Batman v Superman, which is not a good movie, but
Martha, don't say it.
I don't like that
it.
line. I don't like that line. I like the line where he's talking to Alfred and he's like, if there is even a 1% chance that he's an enemy, we have to take that as an absolute certainty. And I just love the and it doesn't really fit for Batman, but I love the just complete lack of really thinking anything through, which good line, not in a good movie or said by the right person. That would have been better if it was said by the bald guy. What's his name? Luther. Like, if Luther had said that, I would have been like, yes, because you're a fucking crazy person. But I think with Snyder, I think he also, the complaint about Superman killing is that Superman doesn't kill. And everyone's defense was, well, he had to in that moment. Right, but also Zack Snyder could have written the moment where he didn't have to kill him. Like that, he's in control of that. So he could have just written it where he didn't have to kill Zod. Because a lot of times, he banishes them to the Phantom Zone. So it's like both are valid, I think. I think just because a character doesn't normally kill, you can try to make that work. And I think in that moment with Man of Steel, I agree with you. I think it works really well. I think then when you introduce Batman and Batman's machine gunning people and blowing them up, when Batman's one rule is no guns, and then Batman just uses guns, then I'm like, okay, now you're going into a direction where you can't write a way that makes sense, because that's not what the character would do. Superman would kill if he had to. He just tries not to.
But I feel like that is the only weakness because of Superman killing. I feel like with Batman, it's a rule that he has given himself, and therefore I think it's kind of stupid that he suddenly machine guns down other people, because it doesn't make really sense. But in Superman, I mean, let's be real. Superman is the portrayal of Jesus to some degree. I know that some people maybe now kind of criticize me for saying that, but to some degree, I feel like that is
there's imagery of it.
What he's going for, and therefore, I think his only weakness is morality and kryptonite. And then when he has to kill, then wow, we kind of see his character
Yeah.
crumbling a little bit, and I like that.
Because I agree. I like the killing in that one because I think it works really well. But then there's a moment earlier on in that movie where his dad, Kevin Costner, is in the tornado and he's like, "Don't save me, son." And it's like, but that's not like that part. I'm like that. I don't think that works because
No, that didn't work at all.
It didn't make any sense. Like,
No.
why wouldn't Clark just go in and grab the dog? And then if people are like, "How'd you survive?" You just be like, "I don't know. I'm lucky, I guess."
Yeah.
Like.
Oh, that
So,
scene
like,
at the bar is so stupid where he's not supposed to hit that guy, but then there are like multiple poles.
Yeah, like how the fuck does that happen?
Yeah, no one questions that.
No.
I mean, that is
or the
so
fact that he tried to
stupid.
move him and he didn't move like at all. Like no human being doesn't move when you push them. Like they move a little bit. Like yeah.
And that was so stupid. But yeah, anyways.
Well, Bo, thanks for coming on and chatting about Marvel with me. That was
thank you so
always
much
a
for
pleasure.
That was amazing.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, on my YouTube channel that is called You Know the Bo, or on Instagram at You Know the Bo as well.
Awesome. I love it. Don't forget to check out Bo Ismono's podcast that I was on. With that episode, when's that episode coming out? Because depending on when this comes out, it may or may not be out.
Next week or the next week after. I forgot.
Oh,
so
well, hey,
soon.
This episode will come out on the 6th. So April 6th, Sunday. Okay. So if the podcast isn't already out, it'll be out soon. But yeah, thanks again, Bo, for coming. Always a pleasure. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for inviting me. See you all, everyone. Bye.
Stop. There we go. Wow, that was a great conversation with Bo Ismono, and
I didn't hear shit.
Yeah, it's because you were in the toilet. But we did your list for you
the whole time. Me and Hollywood were hanging out, and you know what? They actually Hollywood convinced me. Sydney Sweeney's actually a pretty good pick for the live.
You've been brainwashed.
Movie. Listen, we sat down and they explained to me that it's about KPIs and metrics.
Makes
and
sense.
Then I blacked out for 3 hours. And when I came to, it was just a picture of Sydney Sweeney's cleavage in my face. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's fine.
Maybe I'll cut that out.
What? I said it's fine. I didn't disparage this woman.
We did your list, Kevin. And I want to know why you think that Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and Civil War are the 5 worst Marvel movies, and why you also said that you think team-up movies are dumb. Follow-up question, why did you pick all of the Sony movies as your favorite, but especially Madam Web? Venom's 1 through 3, Kraven, Madam Web, and you said special shout-out to Morbius.
Because you're a fool, Odie. That's not my real list.
Oh!
It's not. Here's the thing. I knew you were going to say some fucked up shit from me. And that's why, before you even mentioned it, like you were like, I'm going to podcast with Bo. What should we talk about? That's me doing you again. And I said, oh, why don't you do Marvel movies? You guys like Marvel movies. Then I don't have to do another list. You guys can do the list together. And then I said, you know what? Because I knew you were going to do it. I said, why don't you do my list? That's me being a step ahead of you. But luckily for you, I have brought my real list. My top 5. Ant-Man. 5. Ant-Man. 4. Ant-Man and the Wasp. 3. Ant-Man Quantumania.
What's 2 and 1?
2. Thor: The Dark World.
Good movie.
No.
What's
Number 1. Specifically, only the moments of Iron Man 3 that are sad.
Okay, what's the worst ones then, Kevin?
The worst ones are absolutely. I wasn't. I was just going to list off Transformers movies.
You said you were prepared, so.
Yeah, Marvel Comics did a whole line of Transformers comics, so they technically count. So all the Transformers movies, those are the worst ones.
Oh, is those Marvel Transformer comics your jam this week?
No. No, they're not. All right, but for real, Number one Marvel movie of all time, Thor Ragnarok. Absolutely love it. That's my
okay.
personal favorite. It's not the best, right? I do actually think team-up movies are pretty dumb because you take a lot
knew
of
it.
the suspense.
I knew
do.
it.
Well, I do. I think team-up movies are dumb. Because you take a lot of the suspense away. I think instead of Thor Ragnarok's kind of a team-up movie. But, like, you take a lot of the suspense away from it, especially with, like, some of the Marvel stuff. And I've never been the guy, like, I like Mad Mardigan, baby. I like Loki.
I'm aware.
I like the anti-heroes and shit. And they don't do team-up movies well. You know, like, when you're doing an anti-hero and you do a team-up movie, you have to, like, wrangle the plot in to get them into it, you know? So, yeah, team-up movie's kind of dumb. I would say honorable mentions, because I'm just giving you my number one. It's Thor Ragnarok. Always has been. It might always be. But I would say right behind that, the Deadpool movies are sick.
Oh, Bo had those in his top 5.
Yeah,
the first and third, I think. Or first and third.
I would actually put number one, like Deadpool 1 would probably make my top 5. And then... Oh, God, what else from Marvel really surprised me? Logan. Logan would be in my top 5.
Logan's a good
Marvel movie. Yep, Logan is good. That's 3. What else do I have? I really didn't actually prepare this, but I can rattle these off pretty quick. I'm trying to think of what heroes I like. I mean, I wish... Can I technically say, like, Loki? Like, even though it's a show?
Oh, we did
like,
TV shows. I mean, 'cause
okay, cool.
when you listen
right,
when you listen to Bo and I said that one of my personal favorite Marvel TV show is Moon Knight. I did, like, my favorite show, favorite movie.
Okay, so I would say Loki and then also Legion, which is, like, a cool thing.
Legion is so fucking good.
I love Legion, yeah. And Legion's, like, yeah, that's definitely... That, 1, that tracks. 2, that probably is my top 5. Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so Legion, Loki, Deadpool, I forget the other one I said, and Thor Ragnarok.
Good.
Yep, that's it, baby. Oh, Logan.
Oh, yeah, and then the worst is obviously, I mean, it's the Sony ones. Like, it's just no question.
And then honorable mention, Captain America Civil War. No, not Civil War.
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, yes.
It's funny, I had Punisher Warzone as one of my favorites. And Bo was like, I couldn't get through it, so I convinced him to watch it again. That's what I'm here for.
Kind of a hot take. I feel like I should share it. I actually really dislike the Black Panther movie, and that was probably the Marvel movie that I got the most hyped about. And it really let me down because, 1, they didn't do enough with Michael B. Jordan, and they kind of made his character linear when he's actually, like, they were building him up to be, like, complex and dynamic and do a lot. And then they killed him at the end of the movie, which actually kind of, like, went against the whole message of the movie. It's not the movie itself. Like, the movie is, like, beautiful and spectacular and tells a great story. And if you love it, great. But the message is that he's trying to learn to be a better king for all of his people. And then at the end of it, he comes back, essentially says, I never yielded, which is bullshit. Because if you throw someone off a cliff into a raging river in a duel and they get rescued by another tribe,
that's yielding.
I mean, like, you lost. You just lost. Like he comes back, he's like, I never yielded. And people are like, that's a sick line. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, he got his ass whooped fair and square. He should have come back and been like, let's be diplomatic about this. No, but anyway. And then he kills him at the end, and I'm like, why are you like, you said you were going to learn here. I just feel like he didn't learn, and, like, the monarchy wins instead of the people of Wakanda. Anyway.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems, and Bo and I mentioned this with Marvel movies, is so many of the villains are brought in, killed, and then that's it. It's like, stop doing that.
Except Red Skull, baby. Red Skull's going to be out there.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing in the universe forever.
Also,
he's going to live forever.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's also a giant spoiler for Thunderbolts because they announced the cast for like the next Avengers movie, and it's like every single Thunderbolt, including the bad guy.
Oh. But not Taskmaster.
Nah.
Wonder what happens.
She
anyway,
gonna die.
my jam. What is my jam this week? You go first. You're the captain.
Oh. No. See, captain always goes second.
You're the captain.
You always make me go first, so I'm making you go first.
Oh, okay, cool.
Reverse Uno card.
Well, that's fine. Whatever. My jam this week is Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Now,
as it should be. My jam this week is another podcast that I really, really like, and I love to
Hit me.
listen to them when I'm cooking. It's called Do Go On. It's three Australian comedians that do historical reports every week, and sometimes they bring guests on, and they're gearing up for the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and they have really just a good time, and you can learn some really interesting things, and they've got like almost 500 episodes, I think, at this point, and I think I've mentioned them on the podcast before, but they're just a delight to learn about specific and fun things throughout history.
Okay. I got 2 jams this week. One is All American Fuckboy.
Stop telling everyone. Stop trying to get that nickname going for you. We told you that nickname's not going to stick,
nickname,
Kevin.
All American Fuckboy, baby. We got Friday Night Lights. We got All American Fuckboy.
AAFB.
No, so it's Duckworth's new album. It's called All American Fuckboy. It's absolutely amazing. And to get around the censorship, he spells fuck with a star.
Classic.
It's an amazing album, though. It starts out with him picking up the phone, talking to a girl, and then saying, hold on 1 second, and then picking up the phone, talking to another girl, and then, like, there's a whole thing going on. And then it tells, like, the story of the All-American Fuckboy, and who's like, you're not really rooting for this guy, but the songs are dope. Really good album. I was jamming it at the gym this morning, just kind of like bopping around. I realized something about when I've got like a good jam going at the gym. I shake my booty a little bit and I bob my head. You know, I'm kind of like bouncing. I dance to myself. Like, I don't even care who's watching. I do the thing that people have been telling people to do in Pottery Barn and Hobby Lobby quotes for forever. I dance like nobody's watching, Odie, when All American Fuckboy comes on.
Just you staring at yourself in the mirror.
No, actually, I don't think there's mirrors at the gym. Well, I go to the Y now, which is like, and we have a functional training room.
Is your next jam the Village People?
No.
Oh.
No. My second jam this week is, and it just wrapped up, is Solo Leveling Season 2.
Oh.
Absolutely killer. Super cool show about the dude who has aura and can fucking wreck house, and he's a necromancer. Just good anime. There's a lot of good anime announcements coming out this week, so I've been pretty hyped on anime. Fire Force Season 3 comes out soon. Chainsaw Man, the movie that's coming out later, got announced. We're all waiting on Demon Slayer. Like, just a really good season of anime is ramping up, and it was really cool to see Solo Leveling end at the end of that. I have a quick question. You were talking about Marvel, and then we've talked about Marvel a little bit. Have you gotten any further in Daredevil? Because I kind of fell off.
Oh, okay. So I didn't fall off, but I haven't watched the double episode came out, and then yesterday at the time of recording, another episode came out.
Wow.
I'll probably watch all 3 tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I do want to catch up.
I watched one of the double episode, and it's kind of losing me. Like, the pace is really slowed down.
It's like Netflix.
Like, it's
then.
reminding me of Daredevil Season 3, and I'm like, why are we doing this? Why are you holding off? Like, it's, like, because there's, the episode I just watched is like, it's a whole, like, it's like a bottle episode. It's a bank robbery, and they progress the plot like a little bit, and then at the end, he's like talking to some guys like, I'll go get lunch with you anytime.
So that's why they
blah,
did the
blah.
double episode, because one's a
Probably.
nothing.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of isn't. It kind of, you'll see what I mean.
I
when
will let you know. I'll watch the next 3, and I will tell you what kind of has been bumming me out, and this is my own fault for kind of spoiling it. I was looking at the cast, and I realized that John Berthnell's Punisher hasn't really come back since episode 4, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of was hoping he would be in it a little bit more. I know it's a Daredevil show, but like, Bullseye hasn't been in it since the first episode. We saw Punisher once. Fisk hasn't really done a whole lot, so I'm like, it's good, but I'm hoping it kicks up.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yep. I got one last jam for you because I did this yesterday and I feel like I should share this. There was an April Fool's Magic the Gathering secret layer drop. I did tell you about this. They, and this fits with the whole episode of, living forever and fucking Marvel and shit, I guess.
Don't fuck Marvel. That's
whatever. They did so Marvel and Magic are doing cards. Like, they're doing whole sets. There's a Spider-Man set that comes out later this year. I'm sure Odie's excited about it. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be good. But
Yeah.
they've been releasing secret layer cards. So they did like Iron Man, Storm, Captain America, Wolverine, Black Panther, and now they've done Deadpool. Deadpool's card came out as an April Fool's secret layer drop. I believe it's sold out at the time of recording right now. But because it was April Fool's, people didn't know if it was real or not. And then I saw it and I was like, all right, I just have to log onto the site to see if this is real. And I got on and it's fucking real. And it's a dope card. And it's the first Marvel MTG card I've bought. And I honestly was pretty excited about it. I was like, all right, this is pretty
Deadpool.
sweet. Well, and they did the right thing because, like, sometimes with drops, like, they'll do one cool thing. And this is with any drops, you know, like merch, clothes, shoes, like whatever. They'll do, like, one cool thing, and then, like, everything else is kind of fluff around it. The Deadpool drop was actually, like, really good cards through and through. So I got pretty hyped. I was like, oh, hell yeah, Deadpool. I guess I'm in on this one. And I haven't been that hyped about the Marvel cards so far, but if we see more of kind of like the silliness that's on this card and some of like the funny references and stuff, I'm in. I'm locked in, baby.
I like it.
Final thoughts for this episode, Odie?
Well, you're only here for half of it, so I'll give you half of my thoughts.
Yeah.
Good.
How about you just recap the entire conversation you had with Bo right now, in real time? Play both parts. You be Odie and Bo right now. Go.
Kevin, I've already played the outro music.
You can't cut me off again, Odie.
Yep.
I will filibuster this. I'll Cory Booker up in this
It'll
plane.
just be you slowly fading out, music slowly fading more up.
Great.